Let's move now to India, where Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi began summit talks in New Delhi today. We also stopped in China, where Chinese leader Xi Jinping accompanied French President Emmanuel Macron to Chengdu today. And we can also see that Israel military pushes further into Gaza City, forcing more replacements. All of that and more on today's edition of Worldview Today, where we connect the headlines to the human stories behind them. Please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. We begin Worldview today from Washington, D.C., where President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump rang in the holiday season in Washington with the lighting of the national Christmas tree on the eclipse just south of the White House. The president let the First Lady push the button to light up the tree, a 32-foot red sponge from George Washington and Jefferson National Forest in Virginia. The tree lighting has a centerpiece of the presidential holiday season since 1923, back when former President Calvin Coolidge began the tradition after the lightning. The president spoke both about the tree's beauty and touted some of his accomplishments. The president also spoke about peace deals, the 2020 election, and the World Cup and Summer Olympics being held in the U.S. He also offered condolences for the 2 National Guard members who were shot last month in Washington. In a separate development, Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has presented the government's 2026 budget proposal to the National Assembly, urging lawmakers to approve spending of some $19.9 billion. According to figures she presented, she said that nearly 78% of the funding would be spent on social programs. The OPEC countries' oil production rose to 1.70 million barrels per day in November from 1.13 million barrels per day the previous month, while output of refined products averaged 174,800 barrels per day in October, an increase from 142,200 barrels per day in September. In the meantime, the United States has imposed a visa ban on individuals who have directed, authorized, or supported violations of religious freedom. The restrictions may also affect their immediate family members. The Department of State, in a statement titled "Combating Egregious Anti-Christian Violence in Nigeria and Globally," said the United States was taking a decisive action in response to the mass killings and violence against Christians by radical terrorists, ethnic militia, and other violent actors in Nigeria and beyond. But the statement did not name the affected officials. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump last month designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged persecutions of Christians. This has been denied by the federal government and many well-meaning Nigerians. Elsewhere, multiple lawmakers have said that a U.S. Navy admiral testified that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not give the order to kill them all during a controversial second U.S. military strike on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean. The affirmations by Democratic and Republican lawmakers were made after viewing footage of a 2 November double strike incident and hearing from Admiral Frank Bradley in closed-door hearings. The briefings before members of the House of Representatives and later the Senate came as questions continued around the legality of military force used against suspected drug boat. Meanwhile, the White House has said Admiral Bradley was responsible for the strikes and that he acted within the law. Meanwhile, according to the Pentagon, the United States military has conducted another deadly strike on an alleged drug smuggling boat in the Caribbean, killing 4. The attack on Thursday comes as the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has faced renewed scrutiny over the strikes after it was revealed that a targeted boat had been struck twice during a September 2nd attack. Let's move now to India, where Russia's President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi began summit talks in New Delhi today. As New Delhi rolled out the red carpet for the Russian leader, and Modi told him India supported peace efforts in Ukraine. Putin is on his first visit to India in 4 years, aiming to bust trade with the top buyer of Russia's arm and seaborne oil as Western sanctions squeeze their decades-old ties. The visit comes at a time when New Delhi is engaged in talks with the U.S. for a trade deal to cut punitive tariff imposed by President Donald Trump on its goods over India's Russian oil purchases. Moscow has been India's top arms supplier for decades and has said that it wants to import more Indian goods in an effort to grow trade by $100 billion by 2030, and that so far this has skirted in its favor due to New Delhi's energy import. In the meantime, President Vladimir Putin has warned again that Ukrainian troops must withdraw from Ukraine's eastern Donbas region or Russia will seize it, rejecting any compromise over how to end the war in Ukraine. He told journalists today that either Russia liberates these territories by force or Ukrainian troops will have to leave these territories. Now, this is according to what he said in Moscow. According to him, he says Moscow controls some 85% of Donbas. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has ruled out ceding territory. Also, Putin's comments come after Donald Trump said his negotiators discussing a U.S. peace plan believed Russia's leader would like to end the war after Tuesday's talks in Moscow. In the Asian-Pacific region, Chinese leader Xi Jinping accompanied French President Emmanuel Macron to Chengdu today, a rare gesture seemingly reserved for the head of Europe's second-largest economy that highlights Beijing's focus on Paris in its ties with the European Union. The trip was confined to the Chinese capital, but despite the apparent bonhomie between Xi and Macron, the French president's visit so far has resulted in little beyond bolstering Beijing's diplomatic credentials. It has also provided Macron with a chance to project statesmanship after a tough summer in domestic politics. In Taiwan and Japan voiced concern today over Chinese military activities in the region. Reports say that Beijing had deployed a large number of vessels across East Asian waters this week in its largest maritime show of force to date. Reports also indicated that China was deploying a large number of naval and Coast Guard ships across East Asian waters, at one point more than 100. Chinese military has not commented, but Ling Zhang, a spokesperson of its foreign ministry, said Navy and Coast Guard activities in relevant maritime areas adhered strictly to domestic and international law. Also, Taiwan says it will block access to popular Chinese social media app Red Note for 1 year, following concerns over online shopping scams. Local media report that the island's Criminal Investigation Bureau has said that it detected more than 1,700 fraud cases on the app since last year, with total losses worth more than $7.9 million. In the meantime, the man accused of assassinating former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has apologized to the ex-leader's family for the first time. Tetsuya Yamagami, who earlier pleaded guilty to murder, told the court that he felt deeply sorry towards Abe's widow, Ake. Yamagami used a homemade gun to shoot Abe during a political campaign event in the western city of Nara on 8 July 2022. He died in the hospital on the same day. Abe's death sent shockwave around the world. He was known for his hawkish foreign policy and a signature economic strategy that popularly came to be known as Abenomics. Meanwhile, he reportedly told investigators he attacked Abe because he blamed the ex-prime minister for allegedly promoting the Unification Church, which Yamagami said had bankrupted his mother and the wider family. We'll take a quick break right now. When we return, just after the breather. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Worldview and Spectrum TV. We turn the spotlight to New Zealand now, where police say that a diamond-studded locket swallowed by a New Zealand man who tried to steal it has been recovered. The fabric egg locket, valued at $19,300, was recovered in a natural manner, adding that medical intervention was not required. Now, this comes about a week after police arrested a 32-year-old man at Patrick's Jewelries in central Auckland, minutes after he allegedly ate the locket. In Africa, U.S. President Donald Trump guarded the leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda to sign a peace deal in Washington, even as fighting continued in their war-scarred region. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame and Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi affirmed commitment to an economic Mayor Jacob Fred, a Democrat, has strongly criticized Trump's attack on the city's Somali population and on Thursday called on Americans to love and respect Minnesota's Somalia immigrant community, which is the largest in North America. Let's turn the spotlight to Australia now, where from 10 nations early in 2025, Instagram